I guess there is a fine line between creative and offensive when it comes to advertisements. Ford Motor Company and the advertising firm WPP have apologized after a series of mock-up advertisements for the Ford Figo, a hatchback made in India, were posted online last week. Take a look. The mock-ups show 3 women bound and gagged in the back seat of the vehicle with a smiling man who resembles disgraced former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi in the front seat. Joining us to talk about this is HuffPost Trends editor Tim Stenovec. Tim, I mean, how on earth did these mock-ups get drawn, let alone published online?
Well, Ahmed, these were actually never supposed to see the light of day.
Right.
So this was a huge mistake, and Ford and WPP, which is the parent company of JWT India, who created the ads, you know, they're really facing a lot of backlash right now in the Twitter sphere, and hundreds of articles being written about this. But what ended up happening was these were sort of mock-ups created to show young talent at the agency. And what I learned is that they didn't really go through the approval process. Nobody approved them. Maybe at the local level they did. It's not clear. Ford's denying it. But then somebody uploaded them without ever having been approved by the higher-ups. And they were never published or anything.
Typical millennials, not asking for permission, thinking they know it all. And by they, I mean me.
Us.
Us, all of these people. No, I'm kidding. But the thing is, you know, this guy has a pretty bad history in terms of the sex parties, in terms of the fact that he faces charges for paying for sex. I mean, isn't it too soon to make fun of that, even if this was approved?
Well, I think, you know, yes, I do think so, but a lot of the backlash is coming up from, you know, depicting these women bound and gagged in the back of the car. And less of the focus, I think, is on Berlusconi. And there are a couple other ads, too, that were uploaded. And one of them shows Paris Hilton driving with the Kardashians in the back, bound and gagged. And what's really interesting about this is the day before these actually hit the web, India passed that anti-rape legislation.
Oh, right.
That was really in response to what happened in December, where that woman was gang raped and murdered. And so this comes at a really interesting time in India, where the national conversation has really been dominated about by women's rights.
For the first time in a long time, if ever. Right. I mean, that's the odd part. And I know that it seems to me like there was, you know, to your point about no real kind of thought process with the Paris Hilton ad kidnapping a trio of Kardashians or Michael Schumacher. It seems as though they're just trying to find big names and put them in some sort of dramatic situation and hope that sells. But yeah,
maybe the Kardashians are big names, but Paris Hilton is
once upon a time. Once upon a time. She was a trend.